Let's hear some guesses on how many cheese balls you think it'll take. Reed.
203.
203. Brody. 60. That's a big difference between those two. Rylan.
105.
105. 50.
11.
11 cheese balls will fill up that plate.
80.
80. All right. So here's what I'm going to tell you. And it does say about, so we're going to estimate it. There are 7 cheese balls that would fill up here. Okay. So, am I talking about area to cover that plate or circumference? Area, right? Circumference would just give me the outside edge. So you'll notice the whole lesson is called, do I use circumference or area, distinguishing, knowing which one to use, right? So I want to cover this plate, so that is area. So what is 7 squared? 49. Times pi, and it does say about, so I'm just going to use 3. What's 9 times 3? 27. 4 times 3 plus 2. So about 147. So about 150. Okay, to cover that plate. So again, knowing whether I need to use area or whether I can use circumference. So I'm going to show you just on your book here, if you want to just write down 1 through 8. Somewhere. And all I want you to know is put a C for circumference or A for area. Which one would I need to know? So I'm going to try to get them all on the screen here at one time. I don't want you to figure anything out other than that. Should I use circumference? Would I use area? Based on the question, okay? So you can go ahead and look at them all. Again, I'll try to get them all on here. Hopefully you can read it. Okay, those 8. All I want to know is circumference or area. Okay, there is a big difference between the formulas. That's why it's so important to know which one to use. So hopefully you're getting close to done. We'll just start with Boston, first one. What do you think? Area. Number 1 is area for the round tablecloth. Brody? 2. Circumference. Going around a Ferris wheel. 3, Jonas? Area. 4, square inches. That kind of gives that one away, I guess. Kaylee? Area. 5, Cameron? Circumference, because a horse is walking around on a horse walker. 6, Brody? Area. No. Circumference. That's kind of like the Ferris wheel. You're going around. Okay, going around the outside. Circumference. Reed? Frosting a cookie. Important one for me. A. Area. This one we've done a lot of. Kellen? Circumference. Wheel going around and around. Any questions on any of those? Good? All right. Question 3, you can write skip by that one. We're not going to make any visual display of those cards that we just looked at. We're going to analyze a couple claims now. Question 4 on page 79. Here are two students' answers. We got to write down, do we agree or disagree with them? So the first one was a card we had, feet traveled around by the merry-go-round. Do we agree with either one of these people? Okay, Claire says, the radius of the merry-go-round is about 4 feet, so the distance around the edge, so she's referring to circumference, is about 8 pi. Andre says the diameter is about 4 feet, so the distance around the edge is 4 feet. So we're talking circumference here. Remember, circumference is diameter times pi. So with Claire's claim, what's the diameter? Times pi. Okay, with Andre's claim, what do you think? What's the diameter? 4 times. So mathematically, they're both right. Now you got to think about, one of them had to measure wrong, because the radius can't be 4 and the diameter can't be 4. So think of a merry-go-round. Okay, from the center to the edge, is it more likely to be 4 feet, or is it more likely to be 4 feet diameter? So who is right? Claire. Okay, it does say explain your reasoning, and I would say Claire is right because it's much more likely that the radius is 4 feet than the diameter. I don't even think I've ever seen a merry-go-round that's only 2 feet from the center. Yeah?
You need to start opening to Judge Judy, analyzing claims.
Analyzing claims.
Agreeing with people.
That's what it is. Circle claims, nonetheless.
I just have to ask you, can you repeat what you said about Andre earlier?
No.
All right, number 2. How much room is there to spread frosting? So we said frosting would be what formula? Area. We're covering the entire cookie. So I'm going to write down the area formula just so I remember which one I'm using. Claire says the radius of the cookie is about 3 centimeters. All right, well, let's talk about the area. 3 squared is 9 times. Is that what she did? So she is incorrect. So hopefully Andre did it right. 3 squared is not 6. Andre says the diameter is about 3 inches. What's half of 3? 1.5 squared. What's 1.5 times 1.5? Is it that? Yes, it is. 2.25 times pi. Is Andre right? Yes. So Andre did the right calculation. Claire did not square the radius properly. She took it times 2, which was the most common mistake. All right, last question. How far does a unicycle move when the wheel makes 5 full rotations? So again, we're talking circumference here. The diameter of the wheel is about 1/2 of a meter. So in 5 complete rotations, it will go about 5 divided by 2. So that's about 2.5. All right, so diameter times pi. Okay, so 1/2 times pi. What's 1/2 times 5? What's 1/2 times 5 over 1? What's that? No. Close. 2.5. 5 over 2 or 2.5. All right, so right now that looks right. But what's wrong with her answer? Yep. The label. We could have eliminated that one right away. Why? Because it's squared. It's not area. So Claire is wrong because of her label. And how about Andre? Andre agreed with the measurement, so used the same number. Is that the same answer? It's the right label. But is the answer right? No. So neither one is right. Andre has an incorrect answer. That bottom denominator should be a 2 instead of a 4. All right, last question. I just want to discuss here. You got a goat tied up to your shed. Anybody got goats? You got goats too? Sweet. You want to know how much grass basically that goat can reach, how much area that thing can cover. All right, so as that goat is swiveling here, here's kind of his area he can get to. Right, because that rope's going to come, that's going to come until it gets to the shed, and then it's going to start wrapping around the shed, and he can't get all the way around there anymore. Okay, so that'll happen right here as well. What part of the circle is that? How big? 3/4 of a circle? You agree with that? Okay, and then our rope's going to start hitting our shed. So what's my radius? 6 squared. 36 times pi. So I'm going to take 36 times 3/4. Hopefully it gives me a nice number. Cross cancel anything there? Yep.
36
Absolutely. 4 goes into 36 9 times. So 9 times 3? So 27 times pi will give me this whole area. But also now this goat's going to be able to reach up to this corner of the shed because it can go 3 feet and 3 feet, my 6-foot rope. So looking at these two circles, how big of a circle is that? Half a circle. What's the radius of it? 3. What's 3 squared? 9 times pi. And you said half of that. It's half of 9. 4.5 times pi. So I can add those up. So if you wanted to know the exact amount of grass that goat would eat, or grass seed to replace it, or whatever, you would take 31.5 times pi. I should have a label on there probably. It is area. Square feet. It's in feet. It is area. So it is squared. All right, take a look at your homework. Starting on page 82. This is going to be like the cards we looked at, circumference or area. It does say explain. So you can just write C or A there, that's fine. But I want to know why. Why did you choose circumference? Why did you choose area? So make sure you explain, Reed, on that one. Question 2. Underline, estimate, estimate. Just to help you with that one, I'll give you some measurements here so you won't have to hunt down your ruler and everybody will be using the same thing. Doesn't turn out very well there. Pretty close. Call it 1/4 inch. All right, so write down 1/4 inch equals 1 mile. And I'll give you two and a half inches, we'll call it, for the diameter. All right, so just jot that down. You can use that information to get circumference and area. All right, question 3. How long is the fence around the field? So that's this guy, the outfield fence here, and along first base and third base. So I know this is 250, obviously. So it's 500, plus I got to figure out the home run fence. Remember, that's not a full circle, right? How do I figure out circumference? Diameter times pi. What's my diameter if this would be one big circle? 500 would be the diameter. 500 times pi, and then divide by 4. Yep. How big is the outfield? What am I using there? Area or circumference? Area. You figure out the area of this chunk right here, and then subtract the infield for letter B. Don't make it a triangle. Yeah, it says about. All right, and the last question. Again, couple people making claims there, Priya and Kieran. See if you agree with their line of thinking there. Okay, make sure if it says explain, you do so. All right, so you got about 5 minutes. Again, last part of your homework for the week, page 82 to 84.